Well, good morning again. Welcome to February the 3rd. Today we're reading Psalms chapter 34, Exodus chapters 24 and 25, Proverbs chapter 3, and then we have an article that we're going to read titled, Listen Well to Your Parents. Let's turn in our Bibles to the book of Psalms. And we will begin our reading today with Psalms 34.
Psalm 34, a psalm of David when he pretended madness before Abimelech, who drove him away, and he departed.
I will bless the Lord at all times. His praise shall continually be in my mouth. My soul shall make its boast in the Lord. The humble shall hear of it and be glad. O magnify the Lord with me, and let us exalt his name together. I sought the Lord, and he heard me, and delivered me from all my fears. They looked to him, and were radiant, and their faces were not ashamed. This poor man cried out, and the Lord heard him, and saved him out of all his troubles. The angel of the Lord encamps all around those who fear him and delivers them. O taste and see that the Lord is good. Blessed is the man who trusts in him. O fear the Lord, you his saints. There is no want to those who fear him. The young lions lack and suffer hunger, but those who seek the Lord shall not lack any good thing. Come, you children, listen to me. I will teach you the fear of the Lord. Who is the man who desires life and loves many days that he may see good? Keep your tongue from evil and your lips from speaking deceit. Depart from evil and do good. Seek peace and pursue it. The eyes of the Lord are on the righteous, and his ears are open to their cry. The face of the Lord is against those who do evil, to cut off the remembrance of them from the earth. The righteous cry out, and the Lord hears, and delivers them out of all their troubles. The Lord is near to those who have a broken heart, and saves such as have a contrite spirit. Many are the afflictions of the righteous, but the Lord delivers him out of them all. He guards all his bones. Not one of them is broken. Evil shall slay the wicked, and those who hate the righteous shall be condemned. The Lord redeems the soul of his servants, and none of those who trust in him shall be condemned.
Amen. Let's turn in our Bibles to the book of Exodus. Today we will be reading Exodus 24 and 25. Here is Exodus 24.
Now the Lord said to Moses,
Come up to the Lord, you and Aaron, Nadab and Abihu, and 70 of the elders of Israel, and worship from afar. And Moses alone shall come near the Lord, but they shall not come near, nor shall the people go up with him.
So Moses came and told the people all the words of the Lord and all the judgments. And all the people answered with one voice,
All the words which the Lord has said, we will do.
And Moses wrote all the words of the Lord. And he rose early in the morning and built an altar at the foot of the mountain, and 12 pillars, according to the 12 tribes of Israel. Then he sent young men of the children of Israel, who offered burnt offerings and sacrificed peace offerings of oxen to the Lord. And Moses took half the blood and put it in basins, and half the blood he sprinkled on the altar. Then he took the book of the covenant and read in the hearing of the people. And they said,
All that the Lord has said we will do, and be obedient.
And Moses took the blood, sprinkled it on the people, and said,
This is the blood of the covenant which the Lord has made with you, according to all these words.
Then Moses went up, also Aaron, Nadab, and Abihu, and 70 of the elders of Israel, and they saw the God of Israel. And there was under his feet, as it were, a paved work of sapphire stone, and it was like the very heavens in its clarity. But on the nobles of the children of Israel he did not lay his hand. So they saw God, and they ate and drank. And the Lord said to Moses,
Come up to me on the mountain and be there. And I will give you tablets of stone, and the law and commandments which I have written, that you may teach them.
So Moses arose with his assistant Joshua. And Moses went up to the mountain of God, and he said to the elders,
Wait here for us until we come back to you. Indeed, Aaron and Hur are with you. If any man has a difficulty, let him go to them.
Then Moses went up into the mountain, and a cloud covered the mountain. Now the glory of the Lord rested on Mount Sinai, and the cloud covered it 6 days. And on the 7th day he called to Moses out of the midst of the cloud. The sight of the glory of the Lord was like a consuming fire on the top of the mountain in the eyes of the children of Israel. So Moses went into the midst of the cloud and went up into the mountain. And Moses was on the mountain 40 days and 40 nights.
Chapter number 25.
Then the Lord spoke to Moses.
Speak to the children of Israel, that they bring me an offering. From everyone who gives it willingly with his heart, you shall take my offering. And this is the offering which you shall take from them: gold, silver, and bronze, blue, purple, and scarlet thread, fine linen and goat's hair, ram skins dyed red, badger skins, and acacia wood, oil for the light, and spices for the anointing oil and for the sweet incense, onyx stones, and stones to be set in the ephod and in the breastplate. And let them make me a sanctuary, that I may dwell among them, according to all that I show you, that is, the pattern of the tabernacle, and the pattern of all its furnishings, just so you shall make it. And they shall make an ark of acacia wood. 2.5 cubits shall be its length, 1.5 cubits its width, and 1.5 cubits its height. And you shall overlay it with pure gold, inside and out you shall overlay it, and shall make on it a molding of gold all around. You shall cast 4 rings of gold for it, and put them in its 4 corners. 2 rings shall be on one side, and 2 rings on the other side. And you shall make poles of acacia wood, and overlay them with gold. You shall put the poles into the rings on the sides of the ark, that the ark may be carried by them. The poles shall be in the rings of the ark, they shall not be taken from it. And you shall put into the ark the testimony which I will give you. You shall make a mercy seat of pure gold. 2.5 cubits shall be its length, and 1.5 cubits its width. And you shall make 2 cherubim of gold. Of hammered work you shall make them at the two ends of the mercy seat. Make one cherub at one end, and the other cherub at the other end. You shall make the cherubim at the two ends of it of one piece with the mercy seat. And the cherubim shall stretch out their wings above, covering the mercy seat with their wings, and they shall face one another. The faces of the cherubim shall be toward the mercy seat. You shall put the mercy seat on top of the ark, and in the ark you shall put the testimony that I will give you. And there I will meet with you, and I will speak with you from above the mercy seat, from between the two cherubim which are on the ark of the testimony, about everything which I will give you in commandment to the children of Israel. You shall also make a table of acacia wood. 2 cubits shall be its length, a cubit its width, and a cubit and a half its height. And you shall overlay it with pure gold, and make a molding of gold all around. You shall make for it a frame of a handbreadth all around. And you shall make a gold molding for the frame all around. And you shall make for it 4 rings of gold, and put the rings on the 4 corners that are at its 4 legs. The rings shall be close to the frame, as holders for the poles to bear the table. And you shall make the poles of acacia wood, and overlay them with gold, that the table may be carried with them. You shall make its dishes, its pans, its pitchers, and its bowls for pouring. You shall make them of pure gold. And you shall set the showbread on the table before me always. You shall also make a lampstand of pure gold. The lampstand shall be of hammered work. Its shaft, its branches, its bowls, its ornamental knobs and flowers shall be of one piece. And 6 branches shall come out of its sides. 3 branches of the lampstand out of one side, and 3 branches of the lampstand out of the other side. 3 bowls shall be made like almond blossoms on one branch, with an ornamental knob and a flower. And 3 bowls made like almond blossoms on the other branch, with an ornamental knob and a flower. And so for the 6 branches that come out of the lampstand. On the lampstand itself, 4 bowls shall be made like almond blossoms, each with its ornamental knob and flower. And there shall be a knob under the first 2 branches of the same, a knob under the second 2 branches of the same, and a knob under the third 2 branches of the same, according to the 6 branches that extend from the lampstand. Their knobs and their branches shall be of one piece. All of it shall be one hammered piece of pure gold. You shall make 7 lamps for it, and they shall arrange its lamps so that they give light in front of it. And its wick trimmers and their trays shall be of pure gold. It shall be made of a talent of pure gold, with all these utensils. And see to it that you make them according to the pattern which was shown you on the mountain.
And that is the reading in Exodus today. Let's turn in our Bibles to the book of Proverbs. We do not have a New Testament reading today, and so we will go back to the center of our Bibles into the book of Proverbs, and we will read... No, I'm in Psalms. I want to go to Proverbs. And Proverbs chapter 3.
My son, do not forget my law, but let your heart keep my commands. For length of days and long life and peace they will add to you. Let not mercy and truth forsake you. Bind them around your neck. Write them on the tablet of your heart, and so find favor and high esteem in the sight of God and man. Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct your paths. Do not be wise in your own eyes. Fear the Lord and depart from evil. It will be health to your flesh and strength to your bones. Honor the Lord with your possessions and with the first fruits of all your increase. So your barns will be filled with plenty, and your vats will overflow with new wine. My son, do not despise the chastening of the Lord, nor detest his correction. For whom the Lord loves, he corrects. Just as a father, the son in whom he delights. Happy is the man who finds wisdom, and the man who gains understanding. For her proceeds are better than the profits of silver, and her gain than fine gold. She is more precious than rubies, and all the things you may desire cannot compare with her. Length of days is in her right hand. In her left hand, riches and honor. Her ways are ways of pleasantness, and all her paths are peace. She is a tree of life to those who take hold of her, and happy are all who retain her. The Lord by wisdom founded the earth. By understanding, he established the heavens. By his knowledge, the depths were broken up, and clouds dropped down the dew. My son, let them not depart from your eyes. Keep sound wisdom and discretion, so they will be life to your soul and grace to your neck. Then you will walk safely in your way, and your foot will not stumble. When you lie down, you will not be afraid. Yes, you will lie down, and your sleep will be sweet. Do not be afraid of sudden terror, nor of trouble from the wicked when it comes. For the Lord will be your confidence, and will keep your foot from being caught. Do not withhold good from those to whom it is due when it is in the power of your hand to do so. Do not say to your neighbor, "Go and come back, and tomorrow I will give it," when you have it with you. Do not devise evil against your neighbor, for he dwells by you for safety's sake. Do not strive with a man without cause, if he has done you no harm. Do not envy the oppressor, and choose none of his ways. For the perverse person is an abomination to the Lord, but his secret counsel is with the upright. The curse of the Lord is on the house of the wicked, but he blesses the home of the just. Surely he scorns the scornful, but gives grace to the humble. The wise shall inherit glory, but shame shall be the legacy of fools.
And that is the reading out of the book of Proverbs. So we have read Psalms 34, Exodus 24 and 25, Proverbs chapter 3, and now we have an article. It is right here in chapter 3, but the reference to this article, listen well to your parents, is Proverbs 1 and verse number 8. So we've got to turn back a few pages here. 1 and verse 8, "Hear, my son, your father's instruction, and do not forsake your mother's teaching." The Bible, recognizing that parents are a source of valuable experience and thus of insight and wisdom, advises children to listen well to them. Consider examples of Bible-based advice that 5 founding fathers and mothers gave their children. During the Revolution, Signer of the Declaration, Richard Stockton, was captured by the British. They ravaged and destroyed his lands and possessions and placed him in a prisoner of war camp, where he was repeatedly tortured and abused. He was eventually released in a prisoner exchange arranged by Congress. But by that time his health was shattered. Knowing that he was dying, that his children would grow up without their father, he lovingly told them, and I quote, "As my children may probably be particularly impressed with the last words of their father, I think it proper here not only to subscribe to the entire belief of the great and leading doctrines of the Christian religion, but also, in the bowels of a father's affection, to exhort and charge them that the fear of God is the beginning of wisdom." Proverbs 9 and verse 10. That the way of life held up in the Christian system is calculated for the most complete happiness that can be enjoyed in this mortal state, and that all occasions of vice and immorality is injurious either immediately or consequentially, even in this life. Unquote. Signer of the Declaration, Thomas Stone, exhorted his son, and I quote, "Shun all giddy, loose, and wicked company. They will corrupt and lead you into vice and bring you to ruin. Seek the company of sober, virtuous, and good people, who will always show you examples of rectitude or uprightness of conduct, and property or respectability of behavior, which will lead to solid happiness." Unquote. Signer of the Constitution, Jacob Broom, wrote his son, James, who had set off to begin classes at Princeton. Jacob reminded him, and I quote, "I flatter myself you will be what I wish, but don't be so much flatterer as to relax of your application. Don't forget to be a Christian. I have said much to you on this head, and I hope an indelible impression was made." Just as founding fathers offered wise guidance to their children, so too did founding mothers, such as Abigail Adams, to her son, John Quincy Adams. Abigail trained young Johnny from his childhood to recite the Lord's Prayer, patriotic poem, each morning before rising from bed. When he was 8, and the American Revolution was commencing, he performed musket drills with the Massachusetts Minutemen. When he was 11, he went overseas with his father, John Adams, who had been sent by Congress as a diplomat to Paris, serving as his father's secretary. After he arrived in France, Abigail was obviously deeply concerned about her son's vulnerability to the moral decadence of Paris, and wrote to him, and I quote, "Adhere to those religious sentiments and principles which were early instilled into your mind, and remember that you are accountable to your Maker for all your words and actions. Dear as you are to me, I would much rather you should have found your grave in the ocean you have crossed, or that any untimely death crop you in your infant years, than see you an immoral, profligate, or graceless child." Unquote. Mary Washington also offered her son George sound advice throughout his life. For example, as he began his military career and prepared to accept his very first battle command, Mary counseled him, and I quote, "that God may protect you through all the dangers and hardships of war, and return you in safety will be my constant prayer. With his blessing, you can be a useful man in war as in peace, and without it, you can expect nothing." Unquote. Years later, as he was on his way to assume the presidency, he stopped to visit his mother. It was the last time the two would see each other. She was 82 and was suffering from incurable breast cancer. She told him, and I quote, "You will see me no more. My great age and the disease which rapidly approaching my vitals warn me that I shall not be long in this world. Go, George, fulfill the high destinies which heaven appears to assign to you. Go, my son, and may heaven's and your mother's blessing be with you always." Unquote. The biblical counsel of founding parents, listened to by their children, helped shape America into the remarkable nation she has become. Amen. Those are the readings for today. I pray you have an amazing rest of your day. Be sure to take some time, find some time to think about, meditate on what you have heard and what you have seen, what you have read today. I pray that God bless you, and we will see you again tomorrow.